Hey, what's up guys, it's Luka and today we're talking about minimalism. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story of how I became minimalist. But what exactly is minimalism? Like, how do you define that? So according to Google, it is a movement in sculpture and painting which arose in the 1950s characterized by the use of simple massive forms. Yeah, so that apparently there's an art movement called minimalism as well, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the attitude and the lifestyle. For me, I guess the cliche minimalist is someone who lives in a very empty apartment with white walls, very minimal decorations, with almost no worldly possessions, and wears the same t-shirt every day. Clearly that's not me, but I would still say that I subscribe to kind of the essential beliefs of minimalism. I like having a clean, clear space, and if I had my own apartment, like, the walls would be very white. But for me it's more about this mindset that I don't need a lot of unnecessary stuff to feel happy. Because that is basically what consumerism is all about. And sometimes I do give in to the pressure of consumerism, because why not? I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm trying. Life's a journey. It's about slowly getting better. Okay, so here's my story. It all started on a cold, rainy day in the middle of November. No, let's start when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid I was not minimalist whatsoever. I liked having stuff and I would collect like the most random unnecessary things. But then of course if you're a kid you can't possibly have that much random stuff because you simply don't have any money to buy lots of random shit. So me, when I was younger, not a minimalist at all. But I know that I've always had this lack of understanding for people who would just keep unnecessary stuff. Like for instance, my parents and my grandparents had like these huge storage room with like stuff that has been accumulating for years and years and decades. It wasn't ever used, it was just taking up space. Or these random bits and pieces of furniture that people would keep even though they hated it. Why, if it doesn't spark joy? Yes, Maria, I was a big believer even when I didn't know that you existed. So I guess for most of my life I was sort of semi-minimalist. I liked holding on to things that at least provided me some sort of value even if I didn't use them, but I was still holding on to a lot of things, like mostly clothes and books and DVDs and all that shit. But then I had a little bit of an epiphany moment. So when I was 20, maybe 21, I went on my first solo backpacking trip. I know, all the big epiphanies happen on solo backpacking trips. No, but seriously, I was traveling for maybe about a month, so not even that long, but I only had a small bag with me with just some clothes and that was it, pretty much. And I had so much fun on this trip, I couldn't believe it. And then I came back and I was like, what? I don't need things. Experiences are so much better. So that was when it all really started to sink in. At some point, of course, I also started listening to the Minimalists podcast, and that stuff was just so good to listen to. I was just listening like, yes, wow, oh yeah, that's, oh wow. Totally. Yeah, so somehow I kind of got sucked into this vortex of minimalist YouTubers, and I could really identify with that, and it was providing a lot of value for me for my own life. It is so liberating to not feel the need to own something anymore. Like, we don't have to create this layer of things between us and the world around us. We can just be and live life. I didn't mean to get this deep, but yes, it gives me so much peace of mind to not have to worry about stuff. Having a nice, neat, organized, clean space is goals. And today it's also so much easier not to have stuff. I don't need CDs or, God forbid, tapes. I have Spotify and it's so much more practical. Same goes for movies. There's Netflix. And also books. There's e-reader. Okay, I have to admit I really enjoy the feeling of having a physical book in my hand. But also it's so much more practical to just have one device and it has all your books on it. So convenient. Technology. Oh my god, fascinating. Anyways, maybe in the end I have to mention that my minimalism comes and goes in phases. For some reason, when you stop thinking about it, stuff just keeps accumulating, but then it feels really good to just do a little declutter and get rid of it. And I do that maybe once or twice a year, and it's... yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say for today. Let me know what you think about minimalism. Are you a minimalist or not? Okay, see you next week. Bye!
I've been waiting so long for the storm to arrive. I know that is in you, I know that is in you. Dancing away with the world in your eyes. Oh, goodbye Virginia, goodbye Virginia.